here and let's talk about it. The Clippers set off. They're not waiting to the trade deadline to make moves to get better. After defeating the Los Angeles Lakers from a put-in by, of all people, Reggie Jackson, you are seeing what's transpiring here. And what is transpiring, good people? If you can see and you can tell what's happening, the Los Angeles Clippers have put themselves in a position to where they're going to be one of the top tier teams and dangerous teams to play in the playoffs. Now, the bigger question is, what did this move actually do Look at this. What did this move do to improve the Clippers? All right. A few things in general. As they have totally screwed up this live feed. Let's get to some things here that is transpiring whatsoever so we could speak on it. The Clippers are getting Norman Powell, Robert Covington for Rock Body, Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and Keon Johnson, plus a second-round pick that they got from Detroit in 2025. Now, that is the gist of this deal, but the main story is this. And I want people to know what the main story is. The main story is clear and concise. The main story still remains to be the issue here. And what is the issue, good people? The issue is the Lakers, once again, has spent and gone way into the luxury tax, getting all of these one-year washed-up players, just getting a gumbo pot of people, throwing them on the court and saying, make it work, while someone else is building a real basketball team in Los Angeles. Without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they're able to win games and still be in contention. That if they did have those two, they would be in the top tier right now of the league. And Norman Powell will be teamed back up with Kawhi Leonard, who they play very well off each other. Now, Powell's responsibilities won't be as much as it was in Portland, where he really didn't have a lot of support. See, Powell's defensive prowess is the reason why he keeps getting traded, because he's normally small for his position, but he can put up points. What they really need from him, see here on the Clippers, you have some people that'll help you out when you get beat. In Portland, you're not going to have that. No. Well, the Lakers pretend to be the best team in LA. The Clippers already know we've been better than you for years. They have. And people just haven't noticed. They was like, well, where's your championships? If you want to count the pandemic championship, you can go ahead. But they were better than y'all then. The Clippers have been the best team in LA for years. For at least 7, 8 years, they have been better than the Los Angeles Lakers. When they had Lob City all those years, they was whooping the Lakers. Y'all don't remember? What's good, HD? Yeah, they didn't send out any notifications whatsoever. This is punishment for what happened beforehand. Now, Tyronn Lue, the coach that they were supposed to get, that they wanted to get, they tried to give him a 3-year deal. Because they said, look, we want 3 years because after 3 years, LeBron contract is up. And then we'll be done with LeBron. So we'll be done with this experiment. Then we can go on with Jason Kidd. That's how the plan was. But it didn't work that way. The plans changed. But Ty Lue was like, nah, I'm not going to be anybody's guinea pig no more. I want 5 years. They were like 5 years. And he wouldn't budge. He wouldn't budge off the 5 years. And because he didn't budge off of the 5 years, this was the fallout from that. He didn't budge from the 5 years, and he's like, all right, whatever, you could walk. So the Clippers is like, we'll take him, because we just got to deal with Doc for a year. So they made him the assistant, and once they got rid of Doc Rivers, who they was really trying to get rid of anyway and get away from Doc. Once they got away from Doc, they went ahead and did their big move. No, I think the NBA understands what's really happening here. They're taking their time with it, but the Clippers are building for a foundation. What this trade actually does for the Clippers is it opens up the actual avenue of scoring from the outside. They're more consistent where you got to spread the floor and stretch the defense out. The Clippers have a lot of players that are in the paint players. They're not really strong from the three-point percentage wise. This improves that dramatically. Covington can hit some threes. So is Norman Powell. You got guys who can put it on the floor and get by guys. So you got to respect the shooters. So you got to come out on them. And once you got that, then you got guys that can open up the plays even more. And these are additions to what they already have. Now, with this move, they're still the same. I mean, they realize now rock body Bledsoe is, you're going to sink with that rock every time you got him on the team. And since the Blazers are sinking, why not get some more rocks on the team? Rock body Eric Bledsoe is the way to go. He'll be a Laker soon over there playing with LeBron. That's who LeBron wanted, rock body. Nope. People got to make a decision on what it is that they want to do. They're making all type of different changes as it pertains to Well, thank you. That's what I do, man. I keep that rubbing alcohol. Get clean them pores, man. Clean the pores out. That's the best scenario. Now, next season, they're looking at Ben Simmons coming to the Brooklyn Nets and James Harden going to the 76ers. They want to do a sign and trade. Yo, what's good, Seekers? They want to do a sign and trade because they're going to lose James Harden to free agency in the off season, so they don't want to get nothing for James. So his time in Brooklyn is only this season. After this season, James is gone. He's not coming back because he's ready to do his own thing. Now, he's ready to go over there to Philly, where his general manager is, the guy who did Daryl Morey, who did everything he wanted him to do. So now that's going to be a Joel Embiid problem. I think that's an off-season deal. I don't think James goes anywhere this season. I think that's a next off-season deal. I think they're stuck with Ben to the end of the year. They got to go the whole year with having Ben Simmons on the team, with him just not playing, which is lunacy. So if anybody signed to Clutch Sports, look at this. Look at this Ben Simmons situation. Look at his agent who is advising him. Let that sink in. You're saying this still makes the Clippers' first round exits. Are you sure about that? Are you very sure about that? Paul George is injured and out. So is Kawhi Leonard, and they're still in contention. Now they got two more guards that they can lean on for more stability of scoring. Losing Pat Bev wasn't that big of a deal. Pat Bev kind of got himself removed, doing all kind of craziness with Chris Paul. And Ballmer just was tired of it. And plus, he's injured majority of the time. So even though he was great to have when he's on the court, he does a lot of damage to the team as well. So they've recovered from that and still remain one of the top tier teams. Julius Randle, where would he end up? I don't know. But if they keep losing in New York, I don't know if he's ready to have all that pressure on him. See, the thing about Julius is he's a complimentary player. He's not somebody that's the main guy you could build a team around. He's got to come in and be a complimentary player. Everybody thought he could be that guy, but he's not. And his attitude, he has a real attitude problem. So it's real hard for a lot of people to get on board with him. I mean, he should be traded. He can request the trade because Tibbs ain't going to put up with him. You ain't got the kind of coach that's going to put up with you, especially with any type of nonsense coming from a player. You see what he did to Kemba Walker. I knew that would happen. Where do I think John Wall is going? He want to go to the Lakers. And I'm like, take him. Take him. Russ and Carmelo, they haven't been seeing eye to eye. Russ has blown some plays defensively in that Clippers game where Melo had to cover his back a couple of times. And Melo was like, look, man, come on, dude, you got to. And he was like, Russ is playing a little banged up. He's got a sore back. And he's getting mixed up sometimes on defense on who he's supposed to cover because there's no communication on the court. And guys are wide open. And sometimes he just seemed to have a brain freeze out there on the court. John Wall has been paid $40 million to sit down. That's what Clutch do. They pay you to sit down. So if you want to play basketball, then go sign with somebody else. But if you want to sit down and get paid, sign with Clutch. I would not play Kawhi Leonard at all this season. Unless we were out of the playoffs and he wanted to get some games in. How could he sue? How? Does he have anything that would say he should sue? Some paperwork? And this is by far the worst outfit I've ever seen Shannon Sharpe wear. God, that pea color suit making me about to throw up just looking at it. Jesus Christ, I've seen a couch look like that. That was not the one, Shannon. All your stuff must be in the cleaners. Kawhi is one of those players that come around once in a blue moon. He don't want to be on social media. He just wants to play basketball. He's not trying to be a superstar. His skill makes him a superstar. They're 1 in a million. 1 in a million. Kawhi Leonard's. You don't have anybody volunteering information on him at all. He stay low key and he stay out of the picture. I mean, the NBA got what they wanted. They got an exciting game with the Lakers and Clippers, and there was no LeBron, Paul George, or Kawhi Leonard in the game. And they had an exciting game all the way to the end. Well, it was a series of plays. For 1 minute, the whole league kept changing. Yeah, Morris hit that 3 from the corner. You see the Clipper fans and Laker fans losing it. It's always his fault. I mean, the play was a complete fluke. Because when he spun around, he didn't expect to be that open. And he was supposed to pass the ball. And he ended up taking the shot because he was like, man, I'm wide open. I got to shoot this. And Reggie started doing that jump in the air stuff. Oh, I was like, they must ain't seen, well, they don't play Detroit that much. So I guess they ain't used to the Reggie Jackson. But when I saw Reggie start hopping and skipping, I said, uh-oh, here come a turnover. Or here come a wild 3. Because in Detroit, he would just jack up a wild 3. Here come old Reggie. Look at him, high step. I said, uh-oh, we in trouble. Spin move. Oh, nobody gonna come up. I'll go up. Layup. Another score at the rim. Then AD went there and missed the putback. And Reggie Jackson started dancing. But that's all right. The Lakers will win today, though. Don't worry. Today is a good day. Lakers have been covering for me on the spreads, on the bets for the past 3 games. Reggie, who resurrected his career. He was one step from being out of the league. And he improved his game. But see, Reggie went over there and talked to AD and everything. Keep your head up, man. And in LA, that's a playoff game. The Lakers had Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and you lost to a team that don't have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That's because Ty Lue is allowed to coach. He don't have an ownership where they're dictating to him what players can play, what players can you bench. So I can't say he's better than Fogel. I can't sit here and say coaching is the problem. When somebody's being handcuffed from coaching because they got a lot of prima donnas on the team, it's kind of hard to blame the coach, isn't it? Oh, the Clippers have been better than him, man. Come on, man. The Clippers have been better than the Lakers for years. Stop that. Stop it. Stop, stop, stop. Stop. Don't do that. Come on now. When was the last time the Lakers better than the Clippers? When the last time they were better than the Clippers? Let's be honest. They were better than the Lakers when Kobe was there. You can't trade Russ. He's untradeable because his contract, you've given up so much to get him. What team in their right mind would trade for Russ and want to take $44 million hit? Next year, they got to pay $47 million to Russell Westbrook. So you stuck with this boat all the way through. You gave up all your first round. You have no first round picks to 2028. You've given up all your picks. You have depleted your whole team, your youth, everything. You got a bunch of old buzzards here. And what's going to happen? They're going to be out of the game, and the Lakers are going to go right back to the trash. Meanwhile, the Clippers have a foundation that they could build on and be great for years to come. Well, the Lakers will continue to fall into the trash. They spent all this money to be ninth. Because they've been losing with these guys. With LeBron, with AD, with Melo, and Russ, you've been losing. Do the Phoenix Suns go back to the NBA Finals? It's kind of hard to not see them going there. The Western Conference is crazy because I can't see LeBron James playing Phoenix in the first round. They either got to be seventh, because if they do the play-in and they got to play Phoenix again in the first round, would you favor the Lakers against Phoenix? Who would? And then there's a lot of trade dynamics because a lot of people are trying to trade to get Malcolm Brogdon from Indiana and get him from the Pacers. Because you got a point guard who's a pure point guard who could actually score the basketball. And a lot of people want that on their teams. So, the Knicks tried to get Malcolm Brogdon from, and nobody is interested in taking on your problems. They tried to get Brogdon for the mistake they made when they got Kemba Walker, but nobody wants to take Kemba Walker. You're going to be stuck with him. So they basically, and this is what's happening now. Teams are not bailing other teams out no more because the prices are too much. It's like, we don't want this bad contract. We traded a bad contract for another bad contract. Now, the Chris Paul trade just happened to work out for Phoenix, that they could take the hit because Chris Paul still has something left in the tank because it's not all up to Chris. He got a young nucleus, and what they needed was a point guard, a pure point guard. And he's one of the last few pure point guards in the league. But his thing was injury prone. Could he stay healthy? And normally in the playoffs is when he normally would break down. But now he doesn't have to do that much. He's not, a lot of weight is not on his shoulders to have to do anything. These young guys can get out there and play. They all know their roles. So it's going to be difficult to beat Phoenix. in a 4-game series in the playoffs. Thanks, Patricia. Yeah, I did the bear attack thing on the Patreon so the whole world could see it. I gave my reaction to it over there. You know, YouTube's super sensitive about stuff like that. That bear attack in the circus, that was hilarious. I'm sorry. I was cracking up laughing all day. So that video is already up on the Patreon. Today, well, I'll let y'all find out for it yourself on the next YouTube video I do. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that's got to get figured out before we can start moving forward. But yeah, definitely, it's a lot of stuff got to get figured out. Because notifications didn't go out today, and they should have. This is part of the tampering thing that happened with academics and all them calling up YouTube to try to spam my videos and stuff. So we'll take care of that. Well, it's going to keep showing 1, but you know, that's the error. Because here it goes from 1, it jumps up to 200, it jumps up, all the numbers are screwed up. So let me go ahead and do what I got to do on my end, and then I'm going to get back in contact with y'all later. We'll chat it up. Deuces.